Thank you. My name's Christy Augustine. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Bloomreach. And I get to talk to you today about Clarity, our AI shopping assistant, one of my favorite topics. So as Raj discussed earlier, conversation's key to the agentic era. And it's really the expectation that consumers are moving towards, all of us are moving towards, and it's a huge opportunity for brands to drive more revenue through an incredibly personalized experience. So in that video that you saw a shopper go to ChatGPT. They looked for a jacket for a trip to Seattle. Who here has shopped on ChatGPT? It's like my favorite pastime. If you haven't done it, do it. Super common. I go to ChatGPT, I'm looking for a jacket. I find something, and I'm not super sold. I don't know, is this the right one? So this is where Clarity comes into play. This is when conversational comes into play, right? This consumer saw this jacket, they weren't quite sold, and before you can really even say, I'm gonna search again, Clarity can be triggered. Clarity can come in, it understands that this consumer looked at something. What did they look at? It understands what customer segment that they are in, what they viewed before, and it can deliver highly personalized results to this individual. And it's this ability to not only engage, which you're already doing on your website today, but to engage when and where it matters most in the most individual way possible. So it's what allows the brands using Clarity to unlock this entirely new dynamic experience for their customers. And one that's ready for the new agentic era that we just heard about. So no one understands this better than Ramzi Rahbani, the Chief Product Officer at FortNine. If you're not familiar with FortNine, FortNine is the leading e-commerce site in Canada for all kind of amazing power sports equipment. You know, it's motorbikes, ATVs, dirt bikes. They also have a brand called Defender, which is Marine Outfitter. So I'm very excited to welcome to the stage Ramzi and talk about Clarity, conversational shopping. Thank you. Well, I am very excited because I think that we heard a lot of inspirational topics today, and we're going to get into the how. I mean, you're already doing this. So we're going to talk a bit about Ramzi's experience. I think your experience is pretty unique from a lot of companies I've been talking about there. You were very specifically already leaning in, I mean, at the beginning of the year, saying, I'm looking for conversational shopping. I'm going to put this on my website. Why were you in the market for conversational shopping? How did you choose Bloomreach to partner with on that? Tell me a little bit more about you were leaning in.
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me here. This is my favorite city in the world, so when they told me to come speak here, they weren't twisting my arms too hard. For us, when you look at our mission at FortNine is to become a destination for enthusiasts. And what does it mean to become a destination for enthusiasts? It's by helping customers find the right product, get the expert assistance as they're doing so, and then delivering it with a superior customer experience. But that's easier said than done. When you say find the right product, we have over 1 million SKUs across multiple verticals, and that becomes really difficult to find the right product. The second one, when we say provide expertise, it's also difficult. You need to do so by providing trust and connectedness, and that's not easy to do on a website. You could do all the social proofing you want. It's limited in what you can achieve. And then lastly, when you look at personalization, again, a website is very static. You could do certain things, but you're limited in how much personalization you can drive. And so when you start to see all these aspects and how do I achieve my mission to ultimately fuel passion, conversational AI and conversational agents was the right answer for us. And it hit all the different, checked all the boxes.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you have really invested in the brand experience given you do have a specialized set of products and this brand experience and the digital experience all being tied together. And we talked a lot about trust and the trust your consumers have in you, considering the type of products that they're buying. So, you know, when I talk to a number of people in the market, they're really kind of very nervous about putting conversational right there in front of the consumers, considering the trust and the brand that they're trying to build. What gave you the confidence that now was when you were going to lean in and do this?
Absolutely. I mean, let's make no mistake, this is a change management initiative, and introducing something new can feel scary. I'm sure when I proposed this, I was new in my role, and I'm sure some people thought, did we hire the right guy? But again, my job, and I always pride myself in that, is if I'm not pushing the envelope enough, I'm not doing my job. And if the first answer is not a no, again, I'm not doing my job. But we weren't crazy. We're not cowboys neither. We had the right foundation, and we felt we had the right pillars. In my first 2 months, I flew to Connecticut, and that's where the marine business that we have is. And they pride themselves in being marine outfitters since 1938. And every person I met in our store or in our warehouses used to tell me, we're boaters, and we're here to cater to boaters. And I said, okay, so how do we win as a team online? And they said, we got to bring this expertise online at scale. And so for us, there was internal demand, and then you would speak to our customers in store, and they would say the same thing. So great signals there already to start. Number two, we have the data. The reality is most people even that I speak to have the data. It's just connecting it. We have catalog data, merchant data, reviews, you name it. We have even guides that we built over time that are sitting there probably collecting dust and no longer now. But so it was just a matter of really connecting everything together, and that's where agentic AI kind of allows you to do so. And we went slow. People always see the end state, and they tend to see, okay, these guys are really surfing. But we went slow and steady. We went in incremental steps. We did a lot of A/B testing. We started small. We started in one of our companies. We started on one stage of the website, and then we're continuing to move up into different use cases and in different interactions. And every time we got a win, we celebrated it. We made sure we communicated the results, and everyone was on board. And now we've reached a stage where people come and see me and say, hey, I think I have a use case for Clarity, and I think Clarity is going to help me. Versus in the beginning, I was kind of spoon-feeding people the use cases, and so it's been a good stage so far.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, you guys definitely, you test everything. You start small, get the data, see what's working, not working. I mean, we certainly had things that didn't work. We certainly had things that worked and learned along the way. So given that, what kind of benefits have you seen with Clarity on FortNine, on Defender, for not only the business, but your customers?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first benefits we saw were tangible benefits, business results. Otherwise, our proof of concept would not have graduated into a full scale. In our case, we saw conversion rate increase and average order value or basket size increase. Where we saw it really perform well was with high intent purchases. So navigation systems, boats, motors, anything that was high intent as a purchase, helmets on motorcycles. But where I found the biggest benefit was not in also the tangible value. It was in what I would call the intangible there. All of a sudden, we now had the voice of the customer ahead of us and yet another channel. I'm in product. I always preached what's the job to be done. But now the merchandising team is now talking about the job to be done every day. I don't hear them, we look at jackets, and they used to tell me, oh, this is a great jacket. And now when we look at transcripts, you see someone searching, I want to be able to ride at night. And so the jacket is just a mechanism to allow you to ride safely, but they're looking for reflective pads on the jacket. They want reflective pads on the boots. We have people asking about, I need a boat that I want to be able to fit 8 people. And so, for a family outing. And so now they're looking for a boat that can fit 8 people in that. And so it's less around merchandising and now more around the voice of the customer. And lastly, it identified cracks in our catalog. We had inconsistency in our data. We had missing dimensions, missing attributes that we added over time, and we continue to do so. And so we've gone really from a stage now where we could listen to our customers, respond, and create new material if needed. My SEO team is actually taking a lot of the transcripts that we're taking from Clarity, and we're creating FAQs, blog ideas, things like that. And so now we have yet another mechanism to ingest that.
Okay, I didn't even know that. So definitely you heard it here first, but you guys are doing a lot with this data, which is one of my favorite things about the conversational. As you said, it's the first time that consumers can really engage with you and tell you what they're looking for. And also I think the example of the jacket, it does bring the emotion to the brand. People aren't necessarily just buying a product, they're buying a product for an experience or for something they're trying to accomplish. So, you've really leaned in. You've already got conversational, you've already done your tests, you already have wins, you've already figured out what works and doesn't work. There's more to come, of course. But as, really in the market, one of the things that I'm hearing a lot of is, I'll let the early adopters figure it out first. Let me wait, let me see where this is headed, and I'll try it later. What do you think the risk of waiting is? Because you didn't. So what is that risk to wait?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, waiting is just playing it safe. Patience is obsolescence, in my opinion, especially if you're in the e-commerce space. There are also high risks to waiting. Waiting means that you're not learning. There's a learning curve that you're going to need anyway. You need infrastructure, you need data, and so waiting, you're just basically delaying your learning curve. You're not really removing any risk. Waiting also means that you're not able to pivot over time. We are ahead now. We've identified the next use cases for Clarity, and they've been such a great partner that we're the proof of concept for many new products that they're going to work on. An example of a learning that came for us was around, as we have a product called Emotions AI, and we can segment our customers according to different emotional features. And Clarity was doing really well for the customers that we would call attentive, that needed attention, that needed that support, but it wasn't doing as well with our customers that we called competitive. And competitive meaning customers that want reviews, they want to know that they're buying the best, et cetera. And so now we're working with Clarity to integrate into our reviews engine. And so that's an example of we're ahead of the curve and we're able to unlock value. So I would say definitely I wouldn't wait. Greg is here, so he would probably tell you just do it. But yeah, waiting has risks, and the world is changing. It's changing at an extremely fast pace. And Raj did mention before, the website is changing, the buyer journey is changing. No, I don't believe the website is gone, but agentic AI is here. And it's a both and mentality, and both and together will yield quite a bit of results.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, we were talking last week, and I think you were the one who said, right now, customers are pretty forgiving if your AI maybe can't answer a question, but in 2 years, it won't be. In 2 years, consumers are going to have a totally different expectation. So starting now and learning now means that you'll be ready when your customers are less forgiving about the tech. So you are absolutely one of my go-tos for innovation thinking and what's going on in e-commerce and what are you looking for ahead. So I have to ask you, crystal ball, what's the future of conversational shopping?
That's a big question. Yeah. But I would say before we talk about the future, if anyone here is unsure about how it could apply to you, I'm here for 24 hours, leave tomorrow morning. So pull me in on the side. You're not sure we can brainstorm together around some use cases. Now around the future, I don't have the crystal ball, but I could tell you what I'm seeing already in terms of our customer behavioral changes just from the interaction with agentic AI. It's here, it's quick. I would say the first one is right now we're in what I would call the conversational stages, and people are moving from search to conversational, but I do see it moving deeper into the dialogue stage, and dialogue by anticipating the customer needs. So right now we're not tapped into our loyalty, we're not tapped into context apart from the website context, but if we're able to have access to motorcycle data that we have, like what bike you own, et cetera, when was the last time you serviced your motorcycle? And by starting to do that, we're going to be able to anticipate much quickly. And then when you visit our website the next time, hey Ramzi, would you like me to add the oils that you ordered last year to your basket? Or it's time for a change for your tires. Would you like me to show you the tires you bought last time 3 years ago? And we could start to infer that by tying into the reviews, by knowing what's the actual wear and tear on these tires, et cetera. So that's number one. I'd say the other one is the mediums that we're operating in. Today we're on our website in terms of point of interaction, but even in we own the Ducati dealerships in Montreal and one of the larger dealerships in Canada. And what we did there is we're starting to move into SMS as well, and we're embedding agentic AI into SMS. And recently we did that for storage. Our winters are coming and they're rough. Don't come visit Montreal in winter. But we're starting to do things like, it's time to store your bike. Are you interested in that? Would you like me to add X service? So the mediums are changing. They're changing fast too. And so to me, these two are going to be the short-term changes. The future, I think, is what Raj showed around potentially landing on a website and just having a full-blown conversation and that. And we've signed up to be a proof of concept for that when it comes out. So change is it's moving fast. It's interesting. And really, the art is going to be in the constant pivoting as you go along.
I mean, basically, I love that you're meeting consumers where they are. And this all is focused on the customer first. AI is a way to get there, but you're just really focusing on the customer and keeping that front and center. So thank you so much for joining me on stage. As he said, he's here today. If you have any follow-up questions, come find him, and thank you.
Thank you.